Bryan, is that the new coffee station behind you? Oh, it is. So before you give those down votes, and I know you three who always do will, let me just tell you real quick. We're taking a look at a game today all about philosophy, theology, cosmology. What are we talking about? Well, today we're actually talking about the Big Bang, a game that both Richard Dawkins and John Lennox would appreciate. And what do I mean by that? Well, in a sense, the Big Bang happens, and you're expanding the universe out from that central singularity, right? Right now, the question is, will you do it in an ordered fashion? You get some objective cards, you place those out there. So actually, John Lennox would probably agree more with how this game's structured than a Richard Dawkins would. But either way, the point is you're orderly trying to figure out where to plot these celestial bodies so that you can get the most points for your objective cards. Tile placement, strategy, with a few goals to keep in mind that structure the way you're going to play the whole time. Let's take a look at how Big Bang plays, and we'll come back up and talk about how it fits and how it feels right now. Now what we have here is the Big Bang started in the middle of the game, but let's rewind history a little bit all the way back to the singularity as Alexander Valenka would want us to do. Just like this. All that's in the center is the singularity, the Big Bang. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking a tile from one of the four available up here. Now some of these are going to be action tiles, some of them are going to be special different types of terrain tiles and things like that. Others are just going to be these celestial bodies. Now you are trying to lay them out there on the Big Bang into the cosmos, but you're trying to score points based on your gold card. So mine in this game would be the yellow. I get points per yellow heavenly bodies, celestial bodies, and of this symbol as well. So I don't score any points based on any other symbol unless they happen to match this color, or if this symbol happens to be yellow, or if this yellow happens to be that. You can double up like that, but the point is I could score blue, red, orange of these, or I could score any types of celestial bodies of the yellow color. And the scoring is based on the background of the actual tiles. I'll show you what I mean here on these tiles here. You'll notice that on these tiles, this background is blank, right? So that's worth 1 point. This background has a whole lot of stars. It's worth 3 points. And this background has only a few stars. It's worth 2 points at the end of the game based on positioning. So on your turn, you're going to come over and you're going to take one of the tiles here. So let's just say I, as the yellow character, with none of these tiles being good, let's just say that I'm playing the red one over here. So this is red, and it's these ice cream cone or asteroid or whatever you want to call it. I can then place this out. Normally they have to touch a tile on two sides. First turn you can't do that, so this would come out here. Yes, let's just say I took that one. The furthest one would rotate off. These would move down, and you would grab two more tiles and put them out there. You would then also move your marker across the wheel of time there, depending on how many spaces the background costs. And this costs 2, so I would move 1, 2. The person furthest back on this clock goes first in the round, just a way to kind of change things up. But that is the whole thing. You're going to do that over and over and over until the game is over. A couple of things to note, these green tiles are special actions, things like dark space, which allow you to put an extra tile out in a straight line instead of having to do it in a touching of 2. You could just put it here instead, which is a way to instantly guarantee that you're going to score some good points. You also have the ones that allow you to eclipse, which takes a tile and puts it on top of another tile. You can orbit one by moving it around, or you can move one across the entire outside of the board. There are things like wormholes as well. Let me turn over a few of these. There's supernovas and wormholes and hyperspace, which allow you to place tiles anywhere. The wormholes allow you to kind of make a connection across space to where, let's see if I can find what they look like here. Connection across space to where they're not necessarily in a straight line. They can be kind of even at a 90-degree angle, but because the two wormholes are considered adjacent. Boy, these suckers are hiding. They're considered adjacent. Here we go. You could then score based on and off those two. So neat little things like that. But anyway, you're going to keep going until all the tiles are out. You're going to score points exclusively based on what you have on your gold cards and nothing else. Person with the most points wins the game. So that's Big Bang. I'm actually a really big fan of this game. I didn't think I was going to like it just because it seemed like bland tile placement at first, until you start really getting into this game. And those two gold cards, because you only get two, you get a color and you get a style, really shape how you're going to play the game. And it can get kind of cutthroat depending on how you put those things out there and moving tiles around, and maybe you eclipse somebody else's tile. I really like that there aren't a lot of options for those. You only get one or two of those types of special tiles, and I enjoy that. I like the strategic play of having to follow those two rules of touching two sides. I think that really makes the way that you play this game kind of tricky. Now, as far as presentation, it's a little flat, right? The art is very basic. It's kind of an isometric look at celestial bodies in space, but it does have a nice appeal to it, almost a 50s sci-fi, but with just a little less detail. So I do have to ding it a little bit there. What I do like is the size. It doesn't take up a ton of room. I like that it plays relatively quick. I mean, here's what's funny. Normally games lie up, or I guess they lie in a downward fashion when they tell you how long a game is going to be, but it says 45 minutes. For the full version, 25 minutes for the shorter version. I don't find that to be the case at all. I find it to be much shorter than 45 minutes. It's a quick play, honestly. Now, if you have people who are going to just sit there and just try to min-max everything, well, then any game grinds to a halt. But this one really feels like you can get the game playing kind of nicely, in a good clip and a good beat, especially when you get people who are playing it together, especially multiple times. So really enjoy how well this game plays on the table. I like the theming, right? I like the idea that you're expanding the universe outwards. And again, I made the joke about Richard Dawkins as John Lennox because you're actually orderly, very creatively thinking about how you're going to order the universe and the cosmos. You know, it's those very small principles, the weak nuclear force, and all that sort of stuff that people talk about in cosmology. You're coming up with all that essentially by how you're placing these out there, ordering the cosmos so that you take home the most points at the end of the day. So I do have to say I am a big fan of Big Bang. Go check this game out if you like science, if you like tile placement. Those two things really don't cross that often in Venn diagrams, but if you like science or if you like tile placement, definitely check out Big Bang. It's got a couple of cool tweaks, and because of its speed, I would say pick this up. Now, if this was any longer, if it took a lot longer than I'm saying it does on here, then I'd say you could definitely pass this one. But because it does play pretty fast, grab yourself a nice cup of coffee, espresso, tea, whatever you fancy, sit down with a couple of people and play this game as you order the cosmos ex nihilo, out of nothing, right, onto your table. So, I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Brian. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.